Welcome back. You're still watching the Royal Breakfast Show on a Monday. Hopefully you are well and swell and you've gotten your week on a good note. Remember, you must set your alarms to 6 o'clock every single day because that is the new show time for the Breakfast Show. In case you're wondering, how come I've already found the conversation up and running at 7 o'clock? That's because we have dialed it down to 1 hour. So now it's 3 hours of conversation. Remember, you can always come through and let us know your thoughts on 0979 958 392. Now, you might be very well attuned to the fact that education is very important, for young people as well as people approaching the later stages of life. And it is the key to the future. Because, however, this October, the Higher Education Authority, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, will host the inaugural Higher Education Indaba 2025, and it's going to be happening in Livingstone. And this is under the theme, Unlocking Zambia's Potential Through New Investments in Quality Higher Education. Now, joining me in studio right about now is the Corporate Communications Officer, Mr. Bribo Boniface Musoba. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to see you again. I think our ardent followers for Higher Education Authority know that you hosted our Higher Education Hour back in the day. Back in the day. So meeting you here it spells good news. It spells good news because our last collaboration was so amazing and so impactful, and we're so grateful to Crown TV for having us over to talk about the Higher Education Indaba. As you say, this inaugural one is very, very important, and it's bringing financial institutions and higher education institutions together. We are bringing over 400 people together, and we have a powerful keynote speech which will be delivered by Professor Oliver Sasa. He's the Chancellor for Mulungushi University. He's also actually the chairperson of the board for Zanaco, and he has many years of experience in higher education. And what he will be talking about will be regarding investing in higher education as a strategy for reducing youth unemployment in Zambia. So that is the keynote presentation around which the entire Indaba will be centered. So it's we're very excited about that, and also that keynote presentation by Professor Sasa will be followed by a panel discussion which will be chaired by Professor Pinalo Chifwanakeni, the founder and the Chief Executive Officer and Vice Chancellor for Unilas University, and then it will bring together people who, high-powered people who will talk about funding for higher education, because as you know, higher education is a funding heavy, is a resource heavy endeavor, and you just don't enter it and say for a short period of time. So we're looking for those partnerships, that collaboration with the financiers, and they're coming through. One of the confirmed panelists for that particular panel is the CEO of Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank. So he's coming through. He'll be talking on that panel, which, like I mentioned, which will be chaired by Professor Chifwanakeni, and also Professor Sasa will be on it. And there are more people who will be on the panel, and people will have to come to find out.
I can hear the excitement by the way you explain it, and also it's going to be a big event, this Indaba, but more so the theme behind it. Please explain to us why you went with that theme this year.
So why we went with the theme of unlocking Zambia's potential is because when our Director General, Professor Chinsembu, took over, he made a speech. His maiden address was about transforming higher education, and we know that higher education can unlock economic opportunities, not only just by training individuals that will be able to contribute to economic development, individuals that will be not just be employable but also be entrepreneurs who will stimulate the economy. It's very important. So higher education is a key to unlocking Zambia's future. And once you invest in that, because the reason the Higher Education Authority exists, let me take you back a bit. The government of the Republic of Zambia realized, they couldn't offer higher education alone. That's why, the Higher Education Authority came about, so as to regulate the institutions, the private higher education institutions that are being established. So we establish them, they come through, and we ensure quality, the quality of product that they produce. And not just for the private. For the private, we register them. That's their foundation, because higher education is a restricted business, just like banking. You can't just go to Pakra, say I want to open a bank and then you open a bank. No. There are procedures you have to follow, same as Higher Education Authority. And also, so that's why we always tell institutions, you can't just operate as with the word university in your name. It's illegal. That's contravening the law. So we come in, we do that, the quality assurance, and also we do the quality assurance for public universities and private universities through the accrediting of learning programs. So that assuring that quality of higher education will make sure that the next generation, will make sure that the employees that are coming out of, the graduates that are coming out of higher education are recognized, are capable of working and contributing effectively to our economy. So that is important. Because of that importance, then we looked at it and say, okay, there are all these higher education institutions. How do we create that linkage between the financiers and we create that linkage with the higher education institutions? That is very important, because there are many people out there who would want to enter the business, but they're saying, but I don't have the finances. And you have institutions that are actually, funding that. An example, one of the people who is coming is the Director General for NAPSA. NAPSA has gone deeply into the private-public partnerships, and he's coming to talk about those opportunities that are there. So the NAPSA Director General is there, and we're looking at also not just the financing part, but the theme itself says a quality higher education. Now, how do you build a quality higher education? I've already spoken about Professor Chifanakeni, who will be speaking, who will be chairing the panel for the keynote address, but he's also there as a speaker. He'll be talking about how to build a state-of-the-art campus. You look at what UNILAS has done, and people we need to learn from that. And we were so grateful that he's coming through to do that. And that is one of the key presentations that are there. So you come through not just the financing aspect, but also the quality aspect. How do you build that? And also, just to drill on the quality aspect a bit, you see that this is not just an HEA driven thing, but there's collaboration, because of it's a national duty that we're doing. The other thing that is important, if you look at the fact that NMCZ, Nursing and Midwifery Council of Zambia, is making a presentation there. HPCZ, and Health Profession Council of Zambia, is making a presentation there. Teaching Council of Zambia, TCZ, is making a presentation there. HELSB, the Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board, are making a presentation there. So you see that all of these agencies that assure quality in higher education are coming together and saying, no, this is not just HEAs, but this is important for our nation, important.
And this is quite interesting because you've mentioned some interesting stakeholders that are going to be taken to the panel. But there's a growing issue that's got to do with unemployment amongst the youths who do graduate. They're going to university with that zeal and also that anticipation to say that they will be employed after university. So are there going to be solutions that are going to be handed out towards, solving that problem?
You can see me smiling. I love that you've asked that question, because it tees me up properly into the keynote presentation by Professor Oliver Sasa. Professor Oliver Sasa, like I mentioned, the Chancellor for Mulungushi, the board chairperson for Zanaco, with years and massive years in economic policy and financing. And let me just read his keynote address again. Investing in higher education as a strategy for reducing youth unemployment. So exactly to what you are talking about is what Professor Sasa will speak to. And the panel discussion, which will be chaired by Professor Chifanakeni, which will be also the CEO, Mr. Nyambe from Zambia Industrial Commercial Bank, is on the panel, including Professor Sasa, who actually address that. And also we're not leaving out the voices of the youth. What we're doing as well is Kobusu, the Copper Belt Students Union, will also be speaking at the event. So we're not leaving out the voices of the students. So because we want to hear from them as well. And there is that. So that specifically is a keynote presentation. That specifically, we understand the importance of it, and that is why it's the keynote presentation of the event.
Now, Mr. Brobel, before I do let you go, what is one thing that we should look forward to come October and we hear about the Indaba?
Okay, so the one thing that you should look forward to is that we were bringing together a powerhouse of experience, years and years of experience of people coming together. We have people who have built campuses that are every international standards. We have people with years of experience in financing that are coming together. We have regulators in the higher education space that are coming together. We have students that are coming together, and we're also bringing together actual suppliers who will be exhibiting at the event and showcasing their product. We want to make that linkage between the suppliers and the higher education institution. We want to make it short, and wonder we've invited chief executive officers of institutions, we've invited chief finance officers, we've invited procurement officers, because we know they need to come together. And to that bit, we just like to sincerely thank our partners in this. That is, we have UNICAF University Zambia, who is our corporate sponsors. We have also Creso University Zambia, who are also our corporate sponsors. We're so grateful to them for coming on board, and we're so grateful for other institutions that have come on board to sponsor it, but more so for these two that have taken up a huge chunk. And we're so grateful. We're looking forward to you coming, and to all the students out there, if you want to come, for the normal price is 8,500, but for the students is 3,500, so we've reduced it greatly so that we can hear their voices, and we're so grateful that they are coming through. So come through 8th to 10th October, Avani, Livingstone. It's gonna be wonderful. It's going to be an epic event.
Lovely. And indeed, wonderful is the word that you can use when it comes to Indabas with regards to education. But Mr. Burble, thank you so much for coming through and always updating us with regards to what is happening in the various regions of the education sector.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much. And it's nice to see you again. And to everybody out there, register for the Higher Education Indaba at www.hea.org.zm/Indaba. That's hea.org.zm/Indaba. Come join us. It's going to be epic. It's going to be wonderful. And it's great to see you again.
You know what they say, your health is your wealth, but also education and, knowledge is power. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get back to it. It is the Royal Breakfast Show, so keep watching on Crown TV.